Between 2020 and 2023, 9 coups occurred in 7 different African countries, including Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Chad, Gabon, and Sudan. But amongst these 7 African countries, only the coups in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have been widely embraced, accepted, and termed different because of the leaders and the actions they have taken since they took power. From kicking out French troops and cutting off relations with their former colonial master to withdrawing from the regional bloc, ECOWAS, the military leaders of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have proven that they are patriots who value the sovereignty and complete independence of their countries. Their actions and attributes have endeared them to Africans, including elites within and outside the continent. While a lot of Africans have applauded their recent decision to withdraw from the regional bloc, ECOWAS, there are still some people, including their fellow military junta, who feel otherwise. One such military leader who feels this way is the president of Gabon, General Brice Nguema, who took over power from the deposed president of Gabon, Ali Bongo, in August 2023. Speaking to the president of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, during a recent visit to the country, General Brice stated that it was necessary for Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to reconsider their decision and return to the regional bloc. The interesting thing is that Gabon is not a West African country, and as such, it's not a member of ECOWAS, the regional bloc for West African countries. Instead, Gabon is a country in Central Africa, meaning it is a member of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECOWAS. Why then is General Brice interested in requesting that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso become members of ECOWAS once again? Is it because he is genuinely interested in regional unity and integration? Or is there an ulterior motive? His reason is not exactly clear, but in our opinion, it certainly does not have anything to do with regional unity or integration. Perhaps it has to do with the reason he visited the president of Ivory Coast. As earlier stated, the president of Gabon made this statement when speaking to President Ouattara. But why did he visit the Ivorian president? To understand, let's go back to how General Brice came into power. Unlike the military leaders of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, who are antagonists to the West, General Brice is anything but that, and that is because of how he came to power. Brice started his career as an aide-de-camp to President Omar Bongo until Omar died in 2009. After the president's son, Ali Bongo, was installed as the next president of the country, Brice was sent on a diplomatic mission to Morocco and Senegal, where he remained until he was recalled back to Gabon in 2018 to serve as head of the Presidential Guard. Brice was supposedly loyal to the president, whom he once said he would defend with loyalty and honor. However, certain things began to happen that would later put that loyalty to the test. The Bongo family, of which the deposed president was a member, had been ruling Gabon since 1967. Omar, who died in 2009, ruled for 41 years until his son, Ali, took over after his death. But aside from Ali Bongo and his immediate family, the Bongo family also included extended members of the family who held important positions in Gabon and were notorious for living luxurious lives at the expense of the people of Gabon. Nobody could do anything about it because the country's oil wealth was continuously circulated amongst the elites and the extended members of the Gabon family to ensure their loyalty, and the family had the backing of France. These elites in the inner circle of the Bongo family supported Ali Bongo's rule until he suffered a stroke, which left him physically weakened. Aside from his health issue, the citizens of Gabon, who were already tired of the Bongo family rule, pulled their support behind Ali's main rival, Albert Ondo Ossa, during the 2023 presidential election in Gabon. However, the election, which was conducted under an internet shutdown and widely criticized as fraudulent, saw Ali Bongo winning by 64%. The people were angry, and there was going to be a huge protest that would shut down the country. However, the elites and wider members of the Bongo family didn't want the protest to happen because they were scared of the possibility that the protest would lead to an investigation that would reverse the result of the election and declare the opposition winner. And they knew that if this were to happen, they would lose all the wealth and influence that they had gathered under the Bongo family rule. so they had to do something. They orchestrated a coup with the help of General Brice, who surprisingly is a cousin to Ali Bongo. The coup was successful, and it achieved two things. It diverted the people's attention from the protest and ensured that the Bongo family remained in power. The only people affected were Ali Bongo, his son, and his wife. Although the people of Gabon were happy that they had been liberated from the rule of the Bongo family, the fact is that nothing had changed. A few weeks after he took power, it was revealed that General Brice had significant investments in France, the United States, and Senegal. According to the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, the general also has several properties, both home and abroad, which he paid for in cash. It doesn't take a genius to know that he obviously got the cash from Ali Bongo. Just like his predecessor, General Brice had the backing of France, which is why France did not make any noise about it. One article revealed that on the very day the coup occurred, the general welcomed the French ambassador, Alexis Lamech, to reassure him that the interests of France in Gabon would not be questioned. The French media also confirms France's support for the coup, revealing that the French Secret Service was aware of an attempted coup. According to the French media, the French Secret Service gave information about the coup to President Macron, and the president's response was to command them not to interfere, thereby allowing the coup to occur. This means that supposing the coup was not going to favor France, then the coup would not have been successful because France would have interfered. Isn't this interesting? This is proof of how France and other countries that have military bases in African countries get information and decide whether or not they will act on it. This is the reason why African leaders such as Julius Malema, the leader of the economic freedom fighters in South Africa, are advocating for the removal of foreign military bases on the African continent. Hopefully there will come a day when this will be achieved. But right now, France still enjoys a good relationship with Gabon and a couple of other African countries, including Ivory Coast and Cameroon. Anyway, after taking power, General Brice tried to prove himself differently. He told the people of Gabon that he planned to fight corruption, and he did that by charging Ali Bongo's son, his wife, and a few other ministers for money laundering and embezzlement of public funds. He also announced that he would no longer be paid a salary as president of the country, only as commander of the Republican Guard. At the time the news was announced, it was met with great relief, with people thinking that the general was different. However, since then, no tangible news has been heard from Gabon. The general has not made any reforms or implemented any policies for the benefit of the Gabonese. And unlike Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, which are always in the news headlines, things have been kind of quiet in Gabon. The only thing that we hear is that the general has been visiting several African countries, from Equatorial Guinea, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, and Congo-Brazzaville to Chad, Cameroon, and recently Ivory Coast. General Brice has been quite busy, moving from one African country to another and lobbying for support. The question is, support for what exactly? Well, as you know, after the coup occurred on August 30th, 2023, the African Union and the regional bloc of Central African countries, ECOWAS, suspended Gabon from the community and imposed sanctions on them. This is the reason why General Brice has been visiting countries in Central Africa, as well as those in West Africa. The general hoped that the leaders of these countries would help to plead his case before ECOWAS and the African Union so that the sanctions would be lifted and Gabon would be reinstated to the bloc. Fortunately for him, his visit paid off, because in March 2024, ECOWAS lifted the sanctions from Gabon and reinstated its membership status. However, the African Union has still not lifted its sanctions on the country, and neither has it restored its membership. This is why General Brice visited the president of Ivory Coast recently, asking for his help in getting the sanctions imposed on the country by the African Union lifted. It was during this meeting that he stated that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso should return to ECOWAS. As earlier stated, General Brice didn't say this because he cared for regional unity in West Africa, but because he was trying to present himself as different from the military juntas of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, and to gain the help of the president of Ivory Coast in his attempt to regain Gabon's membership status in the African Union. Will his statement provoke any response from the military government of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.